Hundreds of protesters backing the Occupy movement, some clashing with police, sought tonight to retake an encampment outside City Hall that officers from more than a dozen law enforcement agencies had cleared away 12 hours earlier. The scene outside City Hall was largely peaceful, but it was a different story a few blocks west on Washington Street. Officers in riot gear hemmed in protesters around 6 p.m. and attempted to arrest one person, as about 50 more surrounded them shouting, "Let him go, let him go." Police fired at least 2 flash grenades to try to disperse the crowd, and it is reported that rubber bullets were used as well. 10 p.m. Eastern on the 25th of October, tensions seemed to be escalating Tuesday night as the police presence increased at Woodruff Park, home of the Occupy Atlanta movement. 50 additional police officers arrived just after 8 p.m., and Park Place Northeast, alongside the park, was barricaded. As of 10 p.m., a helicopter was keeping watch over the park, and there are reports now that there are more than one helicopter. A federal court is being asked to grant constitutional rights to 5 killer whales who perform at marine parks, an unprecedented and perhaps quixotic legal action that is nonetheless likely to stoke an ongoing, intense debate at America's law schools over expansion of animal rights. People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals is accusing the SeaWorld parks of keeping 5-star performer whales in conditions that violate the 13th Amendment ban on slavery. SeaWorld depicted the suit as baseless. At approximately 10 to 20 p.m. Eastern on the 25th of October, there are reports from Japan of embassies in several countries under cyber attack. Japan government spokesman says no sensitive data compromised. Rajat Gupta, former Goldman Sachs director and former head of McKinsey Company, will surrender to the FBI on Wednesday to face criminal insider trading-related charges, a person familiar with the investigation said. Gupta was named by prosecutors as an unindicted co-conspirator in the criminal case against hedge fund founder Raj Rajaratnam earlier this year. Rajaratnam was convicted in May by a New York federal jury after a 2-month-long trial. On October 13, a judge sentenced him to 11 years in prison, the longest recorded for insider trading. Denver, Colorado, after high temps this weekend, is now reporting 2.5 miles visibility and snow. Hurricane Rena's projected path has shifted north, now putting all of South Florida in the cone of uncertainty. At the same time, the system is expected to downgrade into a tropical storm by Saturday while near western Cuba. Because both the track and intensity forecasts remain uncertain, officials at the National Hurricane Center recommend residents monitor the storm's progress. At 8 p.m. on Tuesday, Rena was in the Caribbean about 260 miles southeast of Chetumal, Mexico, crawling west at 3 miles per hour with sustained winds of 110 miles per hour, just shy of Category 3 status. First it was Bengal tigers in Ohio. Now it's crocodiles in Bangkok that have broken loose and are menacing the local population. The authorities have warned that crocodiles are swimming through rising floodwaters around the outskirts of the heavily populated capital of Thailand, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation reported. Estimates of the number vary, with the Australian report saying thousands. At least 100 broke free last week in Arathaya province, north of the capital, according to reports. On Tuesday, police received 2 anonymous calls reporting a mountain lion or bobcat may have been sighted entering the woods near Township Line Road and State Road, police said. Animal control was dispatched to the area but no supersized feline was found, Police Superintendent Michael J. Chitwood said. There were reports of an earlier dogfight with a large burly-looking dog who ran off, said Chitwood. That is what we believe it was. That didn't stop the media circus, however. A 1,300-foot-wide asteroid, which is more than 1.5 times the length of a soccer field, will pass within 0.85 lunar distances of the Earth on November 8 or 9, 2011. discovered on December 28, 2005 by Robert McMillan of the Space Watch program near Tucson, Arizona. Asteroid YU-55 is believed to be a very dark, nearly spherical object. It is says, by NASA's Near-Earth Object Program, that, although classified as a potentially hazardous object, YU-55 poses no threat of an Earth collision over at least the next 100 years. However, this will be the closest approach to date by an object this large that we know about in advance, and an event of this type will not happen again until 2028 when asteroid 153,814 will pass to within 0.6 lunar distances. Over the next few days, severe anomalous weather is forecast by YouTube user Dutchsons for New York State and Oklahoma, as he found frequency anomalies in both locations today, the 25th of October 2011. At approximately 6:45 p.m. Eastern, just south of Watertown, New York, we see a double scalar square sawtooth pattern frequency anomaly appear on radar, as well as a HARP ring overlay. Watch these areas for the next 24 to 48 hours from this point for severe weather-damaging winds, hail and possible tornadic activity likely. And possibly even a small earthquake, as frequencies are involved with this weather manipulation. Also, from Activist Post, a thought-provoking article which states, as drone surveillance ramps up worldwide, there is a new threat from above with massive potential to wreak havoc, the wireless aerial surveillance platform drone. This modified military drone was put together from parts legally obtained on the internet by two hackers, Rich Perkins and Mike Tassi, who presented their work at a Black Hat conference back in August. The onboard technology of the 14-pound drone has the ability to invade any wireless network, Bluetooth, or GSM, and wiretap, steal data, corrupt the network, or even shut it down completely. Additionally, the creators pointed out that it can carry a 20-pound payload, which raises the possibility of biological or radiological attacks. But does this latest announcement reveal a weak spot in national security, or is it simply propaganda to usher in stricter internet and communication controls with even more funding for the military-industrial complex to combat this new threat? These hackers are actually intelligence agency security consultants, which makes this display suspect from the get-go. The story was quickly picked up by CNN, giving premium exposure to the DIY threat. The CNN piece introduced by Wolf Blitzer no less is loaded with the usual propaganda about a shadowy hacker scenario where you could be the victim. The Vatican called on Monday for the establishment of a global public authority and a central world bank to rule over financial institutions that have become outdated and often ineffective in dealing fairly with crises. A strong 5.4 magnitude aftershock has been blamed for sparking a riot in a Turkish prison in the eastern city of Van, one of the places worst hit by Sunday's devastating earthquake. Prisoners set fire to the jail and fought their guards because authorities refused to let them out, reports say. Security forces surrounded the jail, from which a number of prisoners were reported to have escaped on Sunday. A National Transitional Council official told the BBC the bodies of Gaddafi, his son and top aide were buried at dawn in an unknown location in the Libyan desert. Late on Tuesday, Dubai-based TV channel Al Ain broadcast footage it said showed Gaddafi's funeral. From the Corbett Report. October 25, 2011. Human rights groups, civil rights campaigners and concerned citizens united in their condemnation of the visit of former U.S. President George W. Bush to Canada this week for a speaking engagement in Surrey, British Columbia. Bush's visit rekindled debates among Canadians about their government's willingness to host an unconvicted war criminal who is guilty of authorizing torture in contravention of numerous international treaties and the laws of his own country. Several rivers in southeastern Mexico spilled over their banks in recent days. The Usumacinta River alone damaged homes and croplands in multiple cities, and isolated rural areas by washing out roads. The governor of the state of Tabasco estimated that regional floods had affected 90,000 residents. McDonald's Corporation rolls out a high-definition television channel to nearly 800 restaurants in Southern and Central California. Kilmeny Dutch Art reports. Just over 1 in 5, or 21% of articles published in 6 leading medical journals in 2008 have evidence of honorary and ghost authorship, finds a study published in the British Medical Journal today the 25th. These results demonstrate that inappropriate authorship remains a problem in high-impact biomedical publications, say the authors. Inappropriate honorary and ghost authorship and the resulting lack of transparency and accountability have been important concerns for the academic community for decades. Honorary authors are individuals who are named as authors but have not contributed substantially to be able to take responsibility for the work. Ghost authors are individuals who have made substantial contributions to the work but are not named as authors.